Hello, everybody, and welcome to ReelTok, episode 60. Today, just us three. George is not going to be able to join us this week. Unfortunately, he will be missed. But regardless, the show must go on. Today, we got a variation of an episode or a variety of topics we're going to be going over. We got a Priscilla review. That's kind of the latest release. Somewhat quiet release. I feel like it's a weird time of year now that it's like Oscar season where there's a ton of movies coming out that like everyone's getting at different times. Like The Holdovers is out for some, but not for others. I know like Anatomy of a Fall is out for some and not for others. Like The Killer's in theaters somewhere. So it's kind of like a weird time of year where like these kind of more niche movies are coming out for some people, but not for others. But Priscilla is kind of like the wide release for this week.
I'm surprised actually got a wide release. Honestly.
Me too. I am as well. But I guess it kind of makes sense because like a lot of like small town areas, I feel like Elvis and Priscilla has that like, name brand recognition that the older folk would want to go out and see. The MCU being in shambles and then immediately being back. So we'll kind of talk about the state of the MCU right now. And I feel like it's been like a long time since we talked about the MCU or any comic book movie in general on this podcast. So it'll be kind of nice to give a little chat about what's going on there because I honestly didn't realize this until I was at the theater yesterday to watch Priscilla. I was like walking by and saw like the
Marvels is next week.
Yeah, like the big cardboard cutouts and stuff. I was like the Marvels next week. It's like
I didn't even realize that. I saw the tweet from like discussing film and film updates when they tweet like this movie comes out next week and it was the Marvels and I was like, wow. Oh.
Yeah. I was thinking for this episode, I'm like, what are we going to really talk about? Because Priscilla is like not the biggest of release. I'm like, what's even coming out next week? I'm like, oh, the Marvels. Okay. I guess the new MCU movie's coming out. It's just odd time for the MCU. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the 2020s decade so far for film in general. We're going to go year by year, 2020, 21, 22, 23, talk about kind of our top 5 films in each of those years and then kind of rank personally for each of us what we think is kind of like from worst to best the years so far in this decade of cinema. That's going to be the episode today. Should be a fun one. But let's jump into first talking about how are we doing. So starting off with Cam, I know you're in a different location this week. How's the week been?
Yeah. Well, so if you follow me on Twitter and you've seen my interaction with Xfinity, fuck you, Xfinity. This is an anti-Xfinity podcast through and through. We will not take any ads from Xfinity. They'll never offer it, but fuck you, Xfinity. I am at my parents' house in my sister's old room right now. Actually, let's see here. No, okay. I was gonna see if I could get a cool like spotlight on me. But my mom like works from home sometimes. And she's got like a standing desk in here, so I can like raise and lower it. So I might just stand during this podcast. Who knows?
I want one of them.
I do too, man. But I don't like work from home enough. But yeah, so battling the Wi-Fi, it went out on like Wednesday. It was cutting in and out. We reset it and came back on a couple times. And then Thursday, it just went out completely, reset it. And it was just like, you're screwed. Called them up. They couldn't get anyone in actually didn't call them up because it's impossible to find a phone number for Xfinity because they're just like, you want to use this chat? No, I don't. The chat sucks. And I want to yell at someone and tell them about my upsettiness. And then, yeah, so they said the earliest they could be out was Monday. So 11/6, I get a call at work yesterday and they say like, it's an automatic recording. That's like, hey, it looks like it looks like a service technician was able to fix the problem without having to come on site. Let us know if you want to cancel your appointment. So I asked Emma to like reset it. We go through that process. Still not fixed. And then I call them and I'm like, hey, someone called me. This time I called the number back. So luckily I had a phone number. I called them back, was on hold for like an hour while I'm at work, which is just not convenient. And talked to them and I'm like, someone called me and said that it was fixed. It's not. And then got an appointment for Friday, 11/3. They're like, we have a technician at 1 to 3 p.m. Someone will come by. Fuck yeah. Mind you, this is Fortnite OG coming back weekend. I had plans to play with Seth. I had plans to play with some friends from home. I was excited. Go back to my glory days of like freshman year in college. It was an exciting time. But then this all happened. And then they randomly text me like 2 hours later and like cancel that appointment. So I call them mad. Hey, why'd this get canceled? They have no idea. I guess a technician can just cancel it, which, makes sense if the technician has stuff going on, send a different technician. And so now it's Saturday when we're recording. I'm hoping they come today between 1 and 3. That's my saga with Xfinity, just randomly canceling my service. And I was also on hold for like 4 hours total in my like many calls to them. Fuck you, Xfinity. Bad customer service. I'm upset, and it's cheap Wi-Fi, so I don't like. I'm not shocked by the poor service, but frustrating. Now I'm back at my parents' house. We came here last night because Emma and I had date night, so we dropped Bailey off and then just decided to sleep over here because woke up early for this, and so I did get to play some Fortnite last night, so I'm very happy.
You did? Interesting.
Yeah, I told you I was.
Any wins?
I didn't get any wins. I played about 3 games. I didn't get any wins. I should also note that I might be just like angry Cam today because I haven't had any coffee yet. And normally I have coffee by like 5 a.m. because that's when I get up for work. It's 9 a.m. right now. No coffee. I'm struggling right now. I'm a little grumpy.
You're the youngest one on this podcast. That's like the classic, like boomer, like older millennial.
I know.
Like,
don't talk to me until I get
before my coffee.
It's the classic big cat meme. But right now, I'm just grumpy. I'm grumpy at Xfinity. I'm grumpy that I had to sleep in like my childhood bed with my 2 dogs and wife, obviously, which is just not that big. I'm just grumpy now. So we'll see how much I love the MCU during this pod. I was trying to be pro MCU. I probably still will be.
You will be.
Yeah, I don't have Xfinity anymore, but I used to. But they're like cheap Wi-Fi, but they're like the biggest Wi-Fi, or like they're like the biggest internet company, I'm pretty sure, like in America. Like they're massive. Well, they own like Warner Brothers or something. Like one of those companies. I can't remember which one. It's Universal.
Comcast owns them. That's all I know.
Right, but Comcast owns Xfinity. But I remember like back when I did have them, like because I would pay more attention to it. I remember they would always have every year be like the #1 company in like all of America in terms of worst customer service, worst response time, most cancellations in service. Like just. Always
Comcast owns NBC. Is that what you're talking about?
NBC Universal. Okay, so because I knew one of the big movie studios would always say like a Comcast company under it. So I guess it's Universal, which always just was weird to me because Universal. I mean, obviously with the strike, like all the studios suck, but like because Universal has like massive Universal Studios parks and all these like highly functioning things. And I always think of when I think Comcast, I think like dysfunctionality, terrible service. So it doesn't surprise me that they don't want to pay their actors because they don't want to do anything right.
It's frustrating. Shout out them for having cheap Wi-Fi, though. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Speaking of standing desks, have either of you seen like those? Like I see that it's not as big anymore, but they used to be all over my TikTok feed of people who like have standing desk and get like the walking pads and just like walk while they work.
I've got a walking pad.
You do? How much do you actually use it? Like, is it like was it a worthwhile investment or no?
Never. So I had it when I was like in my like bodybuilding fitness phase. I mean, I still train now, but like when it was like life sort of thing. So I have a walking pad now. I don't use it anymore. I might sell it actually because they can cost like quite a lot of money, surprisingly, to be fair. And I used to use it when I was working. I used to use it every single day, like without fail. But I can't remember the last time I used it. They're actually pretty good, to be fair. Like,
I love the idea of it. I just can't picture myself being able to like actually type and like move around, like be fully productive normally.
It's not as hard as you think if you have it like a low setting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you've got it at like 10, 15 kilometers per hour, then you're stretching it a little bit. You know what I mean? You're like speed walking fast. But if you've got like a low thing, you just casually stroll in. They're actually really good. I used to recommend them to clients a lot, but it is a case where like you often just don't use as much as you think. I haven't used it in like a year. It's like at least.
Yeah, and it is just such an investment because it's not only the walking pad, but you have to like get a new desk that'll be able to support a walking pad and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah. Seth, how have you been this week? I know for you, similar to Cam, the OG Fortnite dropping is a big deal.
Yeah, stressful fucking week, stressful morning. Fortnite was really fun. Just pure nostalgia. I got on last night and I was just like, this is amazing.
It was great. It was so great.
Like, almost got me in my feels, you know. So many memories. Yeah, played with Joe, Henry, and Josiah last night. We got on for fucking just hours. Got a lot of wins, actually. About 10 wins, I think, last night, which is pretty good.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Who carries in that group?
Joe. I don't even like to say it. Like I'd consider myself to be like, I used to be good, but the curve is so high now that I haven't played it. You know what I mean? I've just dropped off because everyone's got so good.
Were you guys
Like,
were you guys playing build mode?
Yes, I've never.
Oh,
I
didn't play build mode.
Oh, so when I got on,
I can't handle it.
When I got on, they were playing no build, and I was like, "We're not playing this. I'm not playing no build ever."
How? How do you?
Fortnite.
No, but bro, it's too sweaty now. Everyone's just cranking 90s and editing like crazy. It's too much. I can build too. I just can't do that.
But like a PC player can outbuild the best console builder in the world is still going to get outbuilt by like a solid PC builder. I feel
most likely, but like I can build to a level where like if I face someone who's like average, I'll get him because I'm still above the average curve. But the issue comes in where you've got like the curve is so high, and I didn't play it for so long. I'm lacking in so many areas. So when you come against the guy who's been like constantly playing, like building for years, it's very hard.
Yeah, like, I got to the point where I could build really well in college. So I vividly remember, and I'm gonna walk down memory lane with you with Fortnite. I vividly remember my college roommate. Like we moved in, my buddy from high school. We always played video games together. He's like, man, I got this game for the Xbox. It's called Fortnite. It'll get us ready for like PUBG when that comes on Xbox because that was supposed to be the next game coming to Xbox. I liked PUBG. Which is the same thing. If anyone doesn't know, basically, it just doesn't have the building. Yeah. And I played that shit so much. I got fairly good, and now I'm the worst. I can't build.
You play no build. That's so boring, though.
Dude, I can't play build anymore.
Did you see the video I put up where I just like,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like, you don't get that in no build. You know what I mean? There's more opportunities. But yeah, I had a really, really like fun time. I'm gonna play it for. I think it's like they're doing like a month of like different chapters. I think like next.
Is that what's happening? Damn.
Well, apparently, the sad thing is, Cam, they're not doing season 1 and 2 like the OG.
I know, like the OG.
Which I was hoping they do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I was looking for a little bit of like Moisty Meyer. I fucking Dusty Depot.
Dusty Depot, yeah.
Frenzy.
Yeah.
What was it? The farm on top where Lazy Links is right now. Man, take me back.
Because it's not the full OG map. Right?
It's like chapter 3. It's like chapter 3.
Yeah, which
I kind of pulled a bait and switch on people.
Real ones, no. I played before there were chapters or seasons, Seth. I don't know if you did.
Before there was a battle pass.
Yeah, before there was a battle pass, yeah.
Like, it was the best. And I wish they'd have done that and then like each month. But I think they're going like so this is like 3, 4 right now, then they're going like 5, 6, then 7, 8.
Really?
I think I stopped playing at like 8. So I'm gonna be.
I got through the first season. I got through the first 10, and then played a little bit of chapter 2 seasons, like 1 through 3, and then gave up.
Yeah, but yeah, good week. Going to Leeds Film Festival tomorrow. Seeing Anatomy of a Fall and Monster. Monster, I'm really looking forward to. Actually, they both got really good reviews. So that'll be good. That's about it this week. Just a really busy week. Apart from that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not as big. I wasn't as big of a Fortnite guy as you guys back in the day, but yeah, it's just good memories back in college. I remember I lived in a 4-bedroom apartment with 6 total guys, and we were all really good friends. And there'd be like, everyone has like their room with like a gaming system, but there's like the living room gaming system, and Fortnite would always be on, and someone would be playing the living room, and no one would really pay attention or care. But like once they get down to like final 10, then everyone like perks up their ears. They're like, okay, like start paying attention to the living room, and then like get final 5, and then everyone slowly starts like gathering around the TV, like, oh, is he gonna do it? Like way early on before building was that big of a deal, and like most of us were just
took like so long to build like a single stair. And a little thing up,
and like back when like we were just like so not good that like you get final 5 and you'd be like so scared, and you'd be like, shit,
dude, it was like monumental.
Remember the first win you had, like the feeling
it was the craziest feeling.
It was such a hard thing. It was just like a hard fought task, and now you just win, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Man, I still get that feeling.
Yeah, I never got to the point where I was winning so casually, but like I've gotten at least like a dozen wins, but I didn't play too long back in my day. But yeah, the first win I for sure remember. That was just so like adrenaline inducing.
300 wins right here. 300.
I'm trying to find
I actually checked Joe's. I think he's got like 2,000 wins, which is just like that's some nerd shit right there.
And then Fortnite, I remember going to like the phase of like almost where like the MCU is, where like every single year people would be like, "Oh, Fortnite's so dead." Like it's about to fall off. No one's gonna care anymore. But it just hung on. Like Fortnite's longevity is crazy.
The thing is, like Fortnite, it's for like 4 years it's been the most played game. Like it's not actually fell off at any point.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it starts and it still gets like.
It's because it peaked so high that like. I tried to find like my OG. There's a video of me in my freshman dorm room, like top 4, and I'm like visibly shivering. The lights are off. My friends are all watching, like exactly what you described. I couldn't find it though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it peaked at like 3.5 million. Ninja was back with like
he got 5. No, he got 5 million at one point. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
5 million.
Yeah, because the queue to like join a game, I saw some people be like 20 minutes long, which was funny to watch. Like people like Dr. Lupo, like the big streamers, have to wait in the queue. It's like I feel like Fortnite's got to somehow like bypass it for them. Like I feel like it's bad for them. Like someone's streaming it and they just sit there not playing. Yeah, like I remember like Ninja would play with like Travis Scott and Drake.
That was
so crazy.
He got like nearly 1 million concurrent viewers when he played.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And he played like I'm assuming you like Harry Kane, like England football players, like Harry Kane, Dele Alli at one point, and celebrities are like asking to play him because they knew it would be really good exposure. Which is like to merge the video game industry and like rap was the weirdest thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like because it never happened before.
Drake and Ninja playing is the craziest thing. I
remember when they had that game and Drake was like, "Oh, if you win, I'll pay you like 10K or something."
Yeah,
he never actually paid him, which I just
probably not. Like.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja's net worth honestly has got to be close to Drake's at this point. I'm like being kind of serious on that. I'm not gonna.
Ninja has crazy net worth.
Because remember Mixer when Microsoft created their own like Twitch and
he got a lot.
Like who was the other guy? Like Nick Merckx is the big guy. Like they got paid like $100 million to move over there for like 2 months because then it went bankrupt and they still got to keep all the money.
Ninja like. At his peak on Twitch, I'm sure he was earning like 10 to 15 million a month just through subs and donations.
It's telling me his net worth is 40 million, which I feel like it's got to be higher. But,
net worths are always off though.
Yeah, net worth
Drake's about 250, so almost there. But that was crazy. Did you ever watch the?
By the way,
Seth, did you ever watch the like Friday Fortnite tournaments?
Yeah, I did because I did because it was all the YouTubers.
Yeah, those were great.
I used to watch like my favorite guys. I used to try and when I was like actually like on Fortnite a lot, I used to play scrims a lot. Do you remember? Like,
yeah.
They were the fucking sweatiest thing.
Yeah,
like, they were
crazy.
What was that first ever big Fortnite tournament? It was like a World Cup or something. The one where Booga won. That's the one I remember watching that first.
Well, that was the biggest one.
That was like the huge deal.
The live one where they had like there was one where they had like it was duos and it was like a Fortnite streamer. And then like a celebrity was like there was like
that was Ninja. I remember and Marshmallow won that one.
Yeah, Ninja and like American footballers were playing with like
like that. Yeah. I think Mike Evans played with Nick Merckx, Tyler.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember like the first
times,
like OG. Times. I think it was like $1 million the winner, and I remember Booga was probably like 14 or something and won that. Because I think like Ninja and all them were in that, but like when they were no match for like the actual like MLG gamers. But good times with like Fortnite, good days, good times. But yeah, this week's been good. Halloween was fun. So Cam, did you like do Halloween on like the night of, like dress up and like go trick or treating?
We went trick or treating with my niece and with I forgot that was this week. We went with my niece and my son. We'd like walk up to the house and he'd reach his hand down and just pick up a bunch of crap into the bowl.
Did you dress up as well?
We dressed up for pictures. It was freezing here. It was like 32 degrees or something Fahrenheit for the international.
0 Celsius.
Yeah, 0 Celsius.
Only conversion you can remember at the top of my
head. It was fucking cold, man. Yeah, and so we wore like sweats and stuff, but Bailey's costume was a dinosaur, like just onesie basically. So we just bundled him up and then put that on top, and it worked out fine. And we only went to 4 or 5 houses, but my niece was no, not really this year, man. Not Skittles and such, nothing crazy.
Sour Skittles or like
no sour Skittles, regular Skittles. Everyone's cheaping out on the sour Skittles.
That's poor.
Yeah,
it
was fun.
It was me, Riley and I dressed up as Coraline and YB, and then we had 4 of her friends come over. So we all kind of just sat in the driveway with like big bowls of candy and passed them out as kids came by. We had like one bowl filled with Skittles, the other one filled with like various like chocolate like candies and stuff, and Skittles went like immediately. So I guess like chocolate not big with the kids these days. Skittles much bigger deal.
Do you call like chocolate candy?
Yeah, they're all kind of candy because I know you guys
in the candy realm.
Chocolates and sweets, but yeah, it's just all candy here.
We don't call chocolate sweets. We just call chocolate.
No, it's just all candy here.
Oh,
but there's honestly more people than I thought recognized our costumes because like it's if you've seen Coraline, like especially Riley, Coraline's very recognizable. But I don't expect a lot of kids to have seen Coraline. It's not like it's not a Pixar movie or anything.
It's still big though, like especially
some good money.
Like Riley was like incredibly recognizable. Do you know what I mean? Like Coraline was huge.
Yeah. But this one kid came up and recognized us immediately, and he was dressed as Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, and he looked like he was like 9. So I'm like, oh, we got to film making over here. I'm like, if he already knows American Psycho, and he immediately is like Coraline and YB. I'm like, oh, this dude knows ball right here.
This dude knows ball.
This guy's a little film nerd.
That's
right
awesome.
But our neighbor was dressed as Michael Myers, and he was trying to scare people, and he just like took the bit too far to the point where like it was annoying because like
just scaring kids.
Well, like and just scaring us. Like when no kids were coming, you'd just be like standing at his porch, just like staring because we were just sitting in the driveway, just like staring at us, and we were just getting annoyed.
That's cool.
It just got too much. Like he just like wouldn't talk, and he was just like staring at us, and he was just keeping like 40, 45 or something.
I thought he was gonna be like mid-20s. I was a bit fucking weird.
No, like he would just like come and stand in the middle of the street and just like stare at us while we are just like talking. We were like all drinking. We were just having a fun time. We were like, this is getting a little annoying. And he was like slowly walking towards us. And so it was me, a dude, and 4 other girls. And he's like slowly walking towards us. I was like, dude, it was like funny at first, but now just like stop. And then he like comes like real close to us, slowly reaching in his pocket. And then like the guy who we were with, he's like, dude, if you pull out a knife, like it's just like too far. Like the bit's not too far. Like it's just not fun anymore.
We're not America's not in a good enough place to be like just walking.
And like I've never met this neighbor. I'm like, dude, like it's not
met him either. Jesus.
No, never met him. But to be fair, I haven't really met any of my neighbors. I just don't really
I'm not a neighbor.
But he like goes, he like reaches in his pocket and he's like slowly pulling out, and we're like, what the fuck? And then he just pulls out a handful of like 8 shooters, like alcoholic, just like vodka shots. And he just hands it to us. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, but still like annoying that you're like that committed to the bit because we like clearly we're just like not about it. But he just gave us a bunch of vodka.
I don't know. I don't like when like people. I've just given up on the world. I don't like when people like do shit like that because there's somewhere in the world someone was doing shit like that and then like pulled out a knife and killed someone. Like I've given.
If you're in America, you've got to be careful and stuff like that. As well.
I've given up on this earth.
Really
I'm giving it up.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's fucking weird.
But it all worked out fine. But then like just throughout the rest of the night, because like he like could tell he scared us. He would just do like more shit where he was just like staring at us across the street. We're just like, I was just so annoyed. But like the people we were with were like drinking, so we were like having fun, and they would be like joking and like calling out to him. Like I was just like, just shut the fuck up.
Do you not
stop? Like,
do you not think that's
taking him on?
Kind of awkward for him. Do you know what I mean? Like he has to come out of his house the next day and like see you. It's like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd feel really awkward if I was him.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that honestly, but I haven't seen him yet since. But like I'd always seen him around, like because they're like a big like camping family. They always have like outdoorsy stuff and seem like I was going camping and shit. So I always see him around, but I never talked to him. But it's whatever. Like I was just like,
I'll never see him again. Yeah, maybe just a real Michael Myers.
But Halloween was good. Thankfully, we got rid of all our candy. We like bought so much candy this year because we ran out so early last year. We didn't have as much kids this year, but we still had a lot of kids. But by the end of the night, we were just dumping huge handfuls in the kids' baskets. So I was like, I don't want any of this in my house. Like, it's just bad news.
I don't know if I could do it. I think I just eat it myself. You know, my self-control is not that good.
Right. That's why I was like, just dumping it out. I was like, get rid of it.
We have so much candy, dude, and it's just terrible.
It's no good.
Yeah.
There's a fair amount of kids who just showed up with like no costume, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, I would much rather have someone have like a lame last second thrown together costume than just none at all. Like, but I mean, and it was just funny because the girl we were with like called people out. Like at one point, like these 3 kids who came by our house like an hour earlier came by again. She's like, "Didn't you guys already come by here?" And then and they were like, "Oh wait, did we?" And like they were so like caught red-handed. And I was like, "Come on, man! Like I don't give a shit." But that's just like so embarrassing for the kids to just be called out like that. And they're just like got so flustered because it was like 10-year-old kids who just caught like going to the same house and like. I didn't care, but it was just so funny. I just called them out on the spot. But yeah, it's been a solid week overall. yeah, let's before we kind of get in the main episode, what have we been watching this week? Seth, what have you been taking off? I know you watched that one horror film that was like the scariest of the decade.
Mate, I had so many people like. I had this guy make a video about me on TikTok saying that I got paid for the review and stuff. I was like, that's not how it works. Like, we don't get paid for these reviews. I had so many comments and stuff. I literally just liked the film. So basically, it's called Hell House, the origin story. And it's basically like it's a found footage like franchise, but it's the origin story, like a prequel of it. The film itself, like, pretty good. Nothing special by any means, but I don't get scared often, but like I say with George, like the last 20 minutes, so if you guys saw the group chat, me and George were terrified. It was
what kind of scares was it? You know, horror has a lot of different kinds. Is it suspense? Was it creepy imagery, disturbing? What?
So there was one scene that really got me, and it was like, so it's about like clowns in it. So especially if you're scared of clowns, like they're not ideal film for you. There's like a clown in this like cupboard, and his like head comes off, and then there's like this really creepy like electric noise. If that means like static. And then like the whole screen goes like fuzzy and like colored, and then it stops, and then there's like a face right there. So it was like half like jump scares, but then mainly just fucking creepy. And the whole like last 20 minutes was like some proper cult shit that made me feel like so uneasy, with like 3 or 4 really well executed jump scares in the middle. But why it was so good is because it didn't stop. Like, it didn't give you a chance to breathe at any point. It didn't give you a chance to absorb what you were seeing. It just kind of threw things at you, which I think is the perfect way for it to do it. So that was like, yeah, that was terrifying. I watched Dead Man, which is like a Western starring Johnny Depp in the 90s, which was fantastic. Really, really liked. I rewatched It Follows, and I know you watched it as well, Tyler. I liked it a lot more on rewatch. I really did. I give it 4 stars this time. Watched Spider-Man 2, the greatest superhero film of all time.
Not even the greatest Spider-Man film.
Yeah, but you think it's like Far From Home and listen to you. And I watched.
I'm right.
No, I watched The Hit Show, which is a cool like thriller horror-ish from the 80s, which was nice. And that's kind of about it. I've only watched like 7 films this week, so nothing crazy or anything like that. But main ones would be Spider-Man 2, Dead Man, that was really good, and that Hell House was pretty scary as well.
Fun.
Cam, how about you?
Nothing. Just nothing. I'm lame now, man. Like I said earlier, I wake up too early for work and just don't have. I haven't made it through. I haven't gotten to halftime of like any football games, Tyler. I'm just struggling right now, so I can't watch anything. But Emma and I watched The Conjuring, The Devil's in the Courtroom movie.
The last one. Recently.
Yeah, the last one. The devil made me do it. But
how scary?
It's not scary.
No.
That one's not scary. I think the first 2 Conjurings are really scary. I don't think that one's that bad.
That one was a big letdown.
Yeah, that one was a big letdown. I had it at 3. I don't hate it. I dropped it to a 2.5, like a 52 out of 100 or something. It's still got Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Hubba Hubba. They're beautiful. I love them. I just like them in that universe, and I like them both as actors. So I think it's entertaining just from like seeing them, and they're always good, but I don't know, not scary. And also like, it's one of those movies where it's like, it's about a satanic cultist, like bringing shit like back or bringing a demon. Right. And Emma and I are sitting there watching, and every time they like show the Star of Satan, I'm like, oh shit, should I be watching this? I think I got to turn this off. I feel like I'm like welcoming it in right now. And yeah, it was one of those that I'm like, shit, man, that's kind of creepy.
The Annabelle films come?
No, I haven't watched them. I've heard they're not great. Are they any good?
No. I always like when I think about the Conjuring films, I always think there's more than 3, but it's because there's like the non.
There's also Annabelle, yeah.
Curse of whatever.
La Llorona. I heard that's ass. I've never saw it. I heard that's real.
Yeah, bad. I don't like the third Conjuring.
Yeah, not great. And then Emma and I started the what is it? The Haunting in Venice, or A Haunting in Venice. Emma didn't like it, so we turned it off like halfway through. I'll finish it. I didn't love it. It's no more than a 2.5, 3 at this point.
No,
But
I
I
can
don't
see
know.
being the best of the trilogy.
My
which isn't
issue
saying
is
much, but
my issue is like I need to know who the killer is. Like I still am intrigued by any mystery in the sense that I want to know who did it, right? Or what the little twist is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I watched this week. Other than like Emma and I have been binging Modern Family. Modern Family's great. I love Modern Family. Never had a bad season. We've been watching that a lot. And then I watched, Invincible dropped this week. I got caught up in The Boys, but I haven't watched the finale. And then Loki dropped this week as well. So I watched those. But I still need to finish The Boys. Or sorry, Gen V, not The Boys.
I thought you'd watched that.
I got caught up on Gen V. I didn't watch the finale. Yeah, I still got it. Oh, also the Wi-Fi going out didn't help. Not trying to. I didn't want to just stream for 8 hours at night on my phone. So not being able to watch on TV or at least on Wi-Fi sucks. It didn't help.
Yeah.
Seth, is that an orange monster?
Nice. Did you see my little transaction with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Ultra Peachy Keen.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Very good, actually.
Where do you get your monsters? Just from the store? Do you buy them in bulk somewhere?
So, like, similar to Cam, I have like a made. So I like coffee a lot. Like, I haven't got a great coffee machine, so I don't drink it as much. I'd probably have coffee like a couple times a week from an actual coffee place, not at home. But I have drank 1 or 2 of these every single day for about 3 years.
Oh my.
I know, it's right. It's really bad. I'm like a caffeine fiend. I think it's come from like gym days. You know what I mean? It's a very big thing in like gym culture, pre-workout, like that. So I think I'm kind of like that. But yeah, I'd buy them from like the shops. But I will say, I do need to stop because it's getting a bit ridiculous.
I was just thinking I need to get back
Monster.
on the Monster train. I used to like in college. I feel like when I would drink like a white Monster every day or one of those Monsters every day, I would like feel like I was operating at peak efficiency. And now I feel like I need it in my life, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, unless you buy them like in bulk, they actually
right.
People think that like there's actually not as much caffeine as you'd like think. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like a pre-workout. It's more than coffee, obviously, but it really depends. But I can't drink.
Usually, you drink a couple coffees a day, where at least most people drink like one energy drink a day as opposed to multiple.
It's
coffees.
like, for example, if you had like a standard latte for the caffeine content of a Monster, you'd be drinking like 2.5, 3 lattes, that kind of amount. So
I only drink Celsius if I'm going to drink an energy drink. I've never drank Red Bull or Monster or anything like that.
To me, I feel like all energy drinks are a dime a dozen. Like they're all basically the same thing. Like
Red Bull, I mean, your heart's going to stop at 24 if you're drinking them anyway. So
I'm 25. What the fuck do you mean?
Man. You're 25? I thought you were the same age as me.
He had a birthday, a month ago now? Maybe 2 months ago now. Time's kind of flying.
That's fair. Damn. It's crazy. It's almost Thanksgiving. It's all,
when's Thanksgiving? Like November?
Yeah,
it's the 3rd Thursday in the month. Actually,
so for us it's the 23rd, but when is it? Or no, 4th Thursday of the month.
It's actually not. This is the 4th Thursday this month.
Oh, it's okay.
Isn't it normally?
Seth, when is it for you?
What do you mean, when is it for me? I don't have Thanksgiving. What?
They don't have
I thought all countries do, but Canada does, and Canada's in like October or something.
What? Why would we thank? What?
A lot of countries have a version of Thanksgiving. Like you'd be surprised. Like a lot of countries do.
What
it's
day
like all,
is it?
I know
throughout
Canada
the year.
does.
It's like all throughout the year, random times.
What day is it?
For us, it's the 23rd of November, but Canada, I think, was last month or something.
I mean, it might be like a
lot of countries have something similar to it.
No, we don't have anything like that.
But yeah, for me this week, watched Halloween 2. I thought I was gonna hate it at first because I thought the first like 30 minutes were really boring.
Halloween 2,
like the direct
81.
sequel to the original one.
Yeah.
The first 30 minutes are so boring to me. It's kind of like the opposite to me of the original Halloween, where this one, the suspense and like the story didn't really grasp me much, but the kills I thought were super cool and like the climaxes were cool. Like the hot tub scene was crazy. Like just the girl's face melting off was wild. Kind of cool. Like Laurie Strode and Michael Myers' little backstory, but I feel like it was like a little predictable. Maybe it's because it was like a Darth Vader thing where at this point in your life, like if you watch Star Wars for the first time, like there's zero way you can actually go in blind and be like not know, Darth Vader's like the father or whatever. So I feel like the big reveal of Laurie Strode, Michael Myers being like related in the past. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of obvious they're gonna have some connection deeper than just like a random girl he's haunting. But yeah, I liked it. It was fine. Watched It Follows, and I loved it immediately. Glad you liked it more on rewatch. I can see why probably like people who watched it in 2014 who rewatch it now would probably like it more, because especially with the A24 style of horror, I feel like It Follows has been so like what is it? Like a lot of movies have taken inspiration from it in terms of just, it's just like, it was kind of, I mean, it's only 2014, but it was kind of ahead of its time in terms of, I feel like every horror movie nowadays is kind of more about creating unsettling environments and having a lot of deeper meaning behind them rather than just going for pure jump scares. And I feel like in 2014, It Follows was kind of breaking a trend a little bit, whereas nowadays, like all the A24 movies kind of follow that mold, which I don't know. We talked about it obviously a lot in October. We kind of like the elevated horror, but It Follows is great. Starts off with like just a really wild, gruesome scene and just kind of puts you in such an unsettling environment. Just takes you on that ride.
I only watched it like 18 months ago, to be fair. The first time. I don't know. It was like, so I gave it like a 3 originally, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, but I don't know. It really, much better on second watch. It is fucking creepy as well. Like, it really is. Like, you know what scene I'm going to say? The tall man scene when he just walks into the bedroom is so weird. And I think the scene when she's like in the kitchen and she turns around and there's that woman just like walking towards a half naked woman. That's fucking scary. Like, it genuinely is.
And with both those scenes, the sound design, rather than just having like one big bang for the jump scare, it's like it's like a loud sound that just like plays for like 20 seconds straight. So it's like not like a quick bang. Jump. It's like it's like a just massive anxiety inducing moment. But watch Pain Hustlers, which like it's not even close to like the worst movie of the year in terms of like just like a a directed movie, an acted movie, a story, but it was just so boring. So I just had to give it a 1 star. Unfortunate for David Yates. I feel like this is like a huge deal for him because it's like the first movie he's made post like every Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts movie, and it's just not getting received well. So I feel like this is kind of like a make or break movie for him in terms of like, are you just a franchise guy or do you got anything in your bag?
Did you do like the last Beasts stink though?
Did he do like the last 4 Harry Potters or 3? He did the last 2, didn't he? He did Half Prince as well.
He at least did the last 3. I think he might have done the last 4.
He might have done Order of Phoenix as well, actually.
Yeah,
he did a lot of them with Margot Robbie and Aaron Taylor Johnson a few years ago. That was very good.
Yeah, he did what?
That Tarzan film with Margot Robbie and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Tarzan?
Yeah. Let me check what it's called. The Legend of Tarzan.
Oh, I see that now. Legend of Tarzan. Margot Robbie, Alexander Skarsgård. I don't see Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Why did I say? I don't know why I said Aaron Taylor. Skarsgård.
In the main picture, though, also never heard of this movie. But main picture, Alexander Skarsgård does look a little Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I was actually looking at him. What the fuck?
I mean, this is a good-looking guy. I'm not going to say it's not. I am shocked. I've never.
It's got Jimon Hunter as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean that
he's in
everything.
Like he actually just gets paid by movies or by every movie studio and has a contract for everything.
Then I watched About Time. I just love rewatching movies that are just like so easy to rewatch because like I rewatched it at a time where like I did not have time to watch a movie. I was kind of doing other stuff and busy. But like when you rewatch a movie, it's just nice. You just throw something on. You're like, I know I don't have to give this my whole attention. Like I've seen this a billion times, but it's just comforting to have on. And then of course Priscilla, which we're about to review, and The Town, which is going to be our real quick review this week.
I forgot to mention The Town. I did get a rewatch on The Town. I like The Town a lot.
Yeah. Town's good movie.
Sorry for spoilers to the real quick.
But yeah, so not as of right now when we're recording this, but as of Monday when this uploads, here's the big announcement.
Oh shit, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
Officially as of today, November 6th, I will no longer be reviewing movies with decimals. I'm going to just a 5-star scale. Decimals are out the window.
Love it.
I'm going to be updating every Letterboxd review to take off the decimals, and we are a 5-star scale going forward.
One of us. Cam, you're gonna have to join eventually.
No, I'm mad at Tyler.
Did you text George? Did you text George?
I did not, but I knew Cam would be upset and Seth would be happy.
Put in the chat. George needs to know that you're one of us.
So if you're listening to this and you see my Letterboxd reviews without the decimals, I can guarantee the next couple of weeks, every Letterboxd review I post will have people commenting, being like, "Where's the decimal score?" So if you're listening to this, you can be like, you're in the know.
Are you changing your old ones as well?
Yeah, probably gonna take them off.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. It's just because I've been wanting to update my rankings for a long time because there's so many movies I need to tweak. But the problem is with like the decimals is I have to go to my spreadsheet and then it just becomes like it's like I have to move this movie down, then I move that movie down, and I'm like, it doesn't stack up well here. It's like it just needs to be done. It's gotten too much to manage, and then also I just hate the whole like I don't know, just 5-star. I'm fully on board. It's just annoying when people are like, how do you give this movie a 5.2 and this movie a 5? Like, how do you rank that movie like higher? And I'm like, they're just not comparable. You can't just compare every movie directly.
Is disgusted right now. He is in shambles.
Who is Cam?
Yeah,
it's tough for the brand. So Cam's joined. Cam and the Barstool guys are the only people doing the 100-point scale, but I'm officially 5-star.
People always comment on my videos, like if they're telling me I'm wrong or whatever, and they're like, I put this at like a 68 out of 100 or something. I had that comment like yesterday.
People do.
I'm like, I don't believe you do.
Have you seen that guy Tyler on Letterboxd? He's his reviews are really good. That Silent Dawn.
No,
he's like always one of the top reviewers on like every film. Do you know what I mean? Those but his reviews like really in depth. He does out of 100, and he's like really popular. So maybe Cam can be, one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I enjoyed the decimals while it lasted. I respect people who do it at 100. It can't be my life anymore. So back December 21st, 2022 was my first ever, or no, December 21st, 2021 was my first ever decimal review of Spider-Man No Way Home. And Priscilla will be my last ever decimal, unless I watch any movies today or tomorrow and log them. But big football days. But because I'm just going to keep doing decimals this weekend, just to not pull the rug out from anyone until this drops, to have that be the announcement. But yeah, decimals are gone. 5-star scale guy. Tell the presses. I'm sure George will be excited to hear that.
He is. Just text him.
Yeah,
love it.
Is there not a way to link something on? I'm changing the subject, but just while we're on Letterboxd, is there not a way on the desktop like version of Letterboxd or the computer version to link something like you can on the app? That's annoying. I was trying to link.
You can do the text thing on the on photos, like when you make something bold. That's why. I can't even do that on
crazy. Yeah, they need to.
Yeah, Letterboxd still has a ways to go.
Threaded comments. It's so annoying. We still haven't got this. I don't.
Yeah. Like threaded comments, I can see from like a comp sci perspective being like a tall task. Whereas like letting people bold and italicize stuff in a review on desktop should be like that. Should be like a programmer should be able to go in and give 2 seconds of their day and do that.
Yeah.
They still have a ways to go, like Cam was saying, to get to like a fully functional, awesome app. But great app.
I will say, I've given up on my spreadsheet. Unfortunately, it's all Letterboxd now. But I will never give out at 100 out of 100.
That is the first step to the 5-star scale.
No. I haven't given up on my spreadsheet yet, which I will once Monday hits. But that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be like an emotional kind of thing.
Fuck 5 stars. Fuck it.
Let's get into Priscilla, the big in terms of wide release this week. So directed by Sofia Coppola. Priscilla is the story of teenage Priscilla. Oh, her maiden name. Do not know how to pronounce it. Priscilla Beaulieu. Priscilla Beaulieu, I think, meets Elvis Presley at a party. The man who is already a meteoric rock and roll superstar becomes someone entirely unexpected in private moments, a thrilling crush, an ally in loneliness, a vulnerable best friend. Starring Kaylee Spaney, Jacob Elordi. Obviously, we got Elvis last year from Baz Luhrmann, going over kind of the superstar side of Elvis and his relationship with his manager and his family. This is much more Priscilla's side of things. It starts off with her in Germany with their family, where her military family is stationed. And of course, we all know Elvis got drafted in the military, got stationed over there in Germany. That's when they ended up meeting over there in Germany when she was, ninth grader. Their romance kind of starts, and then it just kind of keeps growing from there until they obviously get married. They have Lisa Marie Presley, their daughter, and they were married for, I think, like 11 years or maybe younger, but I think they had at least a 10-year relationship. I think they were married for at least like 6. And then, of course, they get divorced, and then Elvis passes. But yeah, Seth and I saw it. Seth, you saw it probably like 3 weeks ago now at this point. I think George also did see it, so I'll look up what his review was.
George did watch it because he was going to get tickets.
Oh, yeah. That was the one he wasn't able to get tickets for, but Sophie was able to get tickets for.
Yeah.
I feel like that story is too recurring. I feel like he scratches Sophie's back, and then we get so many of Sophie being him saying like,
Yeah,
Sophie got tickets to this, but not for me. So she's going. He'll be like, yeah, I'm bummed out. Me and Sophie tried, but we couldn't. And then like the next day, like, well, Sophie got it, but not me. But yeah, let's get into our review. I don't think there's going to be a ton to go into here, but I actually did quite enjoy this one. So Seth, what are your kind of thoughts on Priscilla?
Yeah, so I watched this. It was like 9th or 10th of October. So it's like about 3 weeks ago, like you said. Yeah, I really liked it. I think Priscilla is a really interesting story, and it's like kind of a film that kind of maybe, in my eyes, was needed to be made after Baz Luhrmann's Elvis last year. Regardless of what you think, it clearly glossed over Elvis as a character. I think Sofia Coppola. It's interesting enough that actually, like, this is pretty bad for me. It's actually my first ever film I watched from her. I haven't seen Marie Antoinette. I haven't seen Lost in Translation. I haven't seen Virgin Suicides. I haven't seen like there's 2 others. I can't remember the name. Maybe more. I don't know. But I think this accurately displayed the loss of innocence, the loss of Priscilla's innocence, the loss of a child's innocence, and the kind of grooming scenario we had going on. Visually, really, really great. I actually read I think it was like Doug's review the other day. I think he said it's like a pastel dream thing, which I think is like a recurring thing from what I know in her films. It has a very like bright lit, overlit, kind of pastel-like look, which I actually really liked. I think it works very much in the film with like kind of a contrast to her, especially in the earlier points of the film, her literally being a child, you know, which I think was really interesting. I think that the first half was definitely better than the second. And the second is a bit of a letdown due to some conversations I don't think were really delved into as much as they could be. Specific conversations with Priscilla and Elvis when they're in the bedroom and stuff like that, and it's kind of getting somewhere, then it kind of cuts off, and you're kind of feeling half-baked and lackluster. But I think the performances were really good. I really, really liked Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, Kaylee Spaney, yeah.
She's definitely up there, one of my favorite performances of the year. I think she was fantastic. I think she was great. Weird how like young they made her look, and then like she gets older throughout the film. It's really well done. Do you know what I mean?
There was multiple. I knew they didn't change the actress who played her, but there's so many times throughout the film I was like, you look completely different.
Crazy.
They did
just by crazy hair, makeup, so like really, really well done. So Jacob Elordi is an interesting one. I know some people didn't really like him, and some people loved him. I really liked him. I really liked Jacob Elordi. I think he kind of played like a more subtle, subdued Elvis that kind of showcased maybe a different character. And I don't think it's when I posted my initial review, I had a few like messages and comments saying like, whose Elvis is better, Austin Butler's, Jacob Elordi's? You can't compare them. They are so unbelievably different portrayals of Elvis as a character and a human being. But I really, really liked it. I really liked Jacob Elordi. I think he's a really, really great actor. And I think Kaylee Spaney was definitely like the top tier. I think she was fantastic. The best thing about the film. So I give it a 3 out of 3.5. Could go up a rewatch. That's like a high 3.5 though, because I mentioned this. Like I watched this is just a weird comparison. I watched.
You would know exactly what 3.5 it was if you had a scale out of 10 or 100.
Shut up, boy. I watched Maestro.
I think both are acceptable pronunciations.
Maestro sounds bad. I watched Maestro on the same day, like just before it, and that was a 3. But then if I look at that being a 3 and a 3.5, I'm like, Maestro was like a 3. Maestro. Priscilla was like a high 3.5. Do you know what I mean? Like teetering on a 4. I really, really liked it. Yeah, good watch. Enjoyed it. A film that needed to be made, especially after Baz Luhrmann splashes Elvis, but not one that is comparable, especially when it comes to Elvis as a character, because it's just so different. But yeah, I liked it. Good.
Right. Yeah, I'm similar to you in terms of my Sofia Coppola bag isn't very deep. It's one film deep, and that's Priscilla. So I haven't seen her other ones to compare, but I have heard the similar things to you, that it's a common theme in hers to kind of have that kind of lush, dreamlike cinematography and story style to her films. And I totally felt that in this. It really feels like, I don't know, like obviously, A, I'm not a woman. B, I've never groomed anyone. C, I've never been groomed. But as someone who's never had experience in any of those 3 things, I really felt like I was like put in her shoes pretty well in terms of like what it feels like to be just like, over the moon, like butterflies in your stomach, like, oh my God, this famous guy like likes me, like, and you're getting swept up in this romance and it feels so surreal. And like your life just gets changed like that. And it felt like just such like a dream throughout so much of this movie. And then it would just like quickly crack you over the head and be like, no, this is actually also like a nightmare too. But then it would kind of again, I've never been like an abusive relationship, but a lot of stuff you'll hear from that is where like, you'll think things are going so great and then things will go so terribly. But then like after that, you're like, oh, well, maybe they've changed because things are going well again. And be like, everything kind of goes happy. Like, I feel like it just did such a well thing at portraying that in terms of just, she was just in this just trance-like, dream-like fairy tale that was just quickly, you'd just get these quick, abrupt moments where it would be, you'd realize it's not as dreamlike as you might think it is with how the relationship played out. And obviously you kind of realize it was like a nightmare all along when you think about it, because obviously she was a 9th grader when they met and he clearly like groomed her. And that's like the thing about like grooming is like, clearly he like, you know, because he was always keeping in contact with her. He was clearly like prepping her to be like, once you're of age, like we're going to get married or whatever. But like also because this is straight from like the words of Priscilla Presley, because it's like her book is what this movie's based off of. And she was very involved in the production. So like, you'd have to imagine it's pretty accurate to what her life was. So, like kind of the way they portray it in the movie is like, he never really does like, you know, it's gross, but he never does like the crazy like things you might expect. But like, he clearly is like grooming her, you know, because he's like from 90% of the early relationship, they're never, or like 99, they're never in the same country. Because it's just like, he's like writing her letters, like finish your schooling, like once you come, like basically they kind of like meet and have like a few dates. It seems like from like the timeline in the movie, at least. I don't know if real life, but timeline in the movie is they meet, and when she's in 9th grade, they go on a few dates, and then he either got restationed or he just like his time in the army was done and he went back to America. And that was kind of it. They went like 3 years, maybe even more, without seeing each other again, until finally like he then flew her out to Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. And then that's kind of where they rekindled. And that's at this point, she's like about to graduate high school. And props to her for like sticking with her parents' word and graduating high school, because I don't know how, like, because like people in high school knew like she was like with Elvis. Like, how do you, if you're with like the biggest superstar in America, like how can you actually just like go through like study? Like, I know they kind of showed that she would cheat on all her tests to get by, but I would too. Like, how would you be able to focus on studies if you're with Elvis Presley and like a multimillionaire, the biggest superstar in the world? Like, why would you care about going to school? It's just crazy.
Do you think that this film did a good job in highlighting the stature of Elvis's fame and his like life? I know it's not directly related about him, but I think when you look at it through the eyes of Priscilla, when she is, you know, going to school and stuff, it's a difficult one. I think it's quite hard to portray in a film just how big Elvis was as a figure, especially in America, across the world.
Yeah, and I think it's also
Priscilla that would have been perhaps higher than portrayed. But again, this is a film that came from, you know, the horse's mouth in a way, from her book. So it's hard
it's like, and also I think it's the way it shows Elvis in this is kind of the way she viewed him in terms of, I don't think she ever fully grasped how much of a star he was. Like, obviously when they first started living together, she would just be playing with the dog in the yard. And then like the older people in Elvis's life were kind of like, you can't just be like out in the public eye, like playing in the yard. You can't be seen by paparazzi. And then she would kind of learn about everything from like newspaper headlines of like him on a film, getting close to the starlet on that film with him. But I feel like you didn't really grasp how big of a superstar Elvis was in this movie. And I feel like that was kind of intentional, because I don't think it kind of shows like Priscilla didn't really fully understand the beast that was Elvis in more ways than one. Yeah. But I'm a huge Jacob Elordi fan. Like, I love Jacob Elordi, and he's like, I'm excited to see more stuff from him. So I really, he was genuinely scary at points in this. Like he was so well at just being so unpredictable. Almost similar to like, the same kind of presence De Niro had in Killers of the Flower Moon, where like most of the time he's not doing anything outright aggressive or terrible in front of your face, but there's always that uncomfortable undertones to everything he's doing where you're just uneasy about what he's doing. Yeah. But then there's times where he snaps and you're like, damn, that was like
out of nowhere. Like when he but he throws the chair for a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just out of nowhere, just that kind of grasp of always wanting to be kind of in control of each situation. I think is the element you get from his personality.
And always just so toxic. Anytime she'd be like, I don't want to do this, then his immediately answer would just be like, well, there's a billion women out there that would want to do this, so you better shape up or else I'll find someone else. And he's just like, I don't want a woman who's going to worry about a career. Like I want someone who's going to worry about me, and that's all I care about. And clearly he didn't want a woman in his life. He wanted like basically, a robot basically, just like someone who would do exactly what he said, dress exactly the way he wanted, always look a certain way, be there for him when he wants, but not be there for him when he doesn't want him.
Yeah.
Raise a kid, like just kind of just be, just doing their own thing and just not really be a part of his life other than just kind of doing, I don't know, just a weird relationship for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you score it, by the way?
I gave it a 4-star.
Like high, okay.
I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 purely because like I'm only put the decimals just because I don't want to spoil a surprise till Monday, but I don't know if there's a high 4, low 4, like I just threw a decimal on there just so people would know. But I don't know, like I think I agree with you. The end wasn't as great for me as the rest of it, but because there was genuinely times throughout this where I was like, this could be like a 4.5. Like I really thought the direction was just primo, which is why I really want to dive into more Sofia Coppola movies because I thought the direction was just superb in this.
Yeah, I did. I really like visually. I think it was really, really interesting. Some of the shots were really, really great. The colors utilized really well.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that's been very apparent in Sofia Coppola's career, apparently. Anyway, like people say the same about Lost in Translation. Marie Antoinette was massive with the hues of color, apparently. So I really do need to get into her films. I think I'd like judging from anyway, because I think they're all similar-ish, regarding visually. Anyway,
yeah, and the hair and makeup and costume design in this movie is incredible too. Like we said, like Kaylee Spaney literally transforms, like from her high school years to her Elvis years to like when she's kind of realizing like she wants a divorce from Elvis. She's her own person.
Like the age that she's portrayed.
Right. It's 14, it's crazy how they're able to pull that off because it goes over like a 10-year period at least. And
it's crazy.
Because like you feel so uncomfortable during like the groomer years when you're like, ew, she's like literally like a kid. But then by the time she like divorces Elvis, like she looks like a 30-year-old woman. And I'm like obviously this was filmed like 4 months later. And it's not like the classic way of like, oh, they just like add wrinkles to her face. Like, no, like just like transform the way she looks.
It's just like makeup, hair, clothes, and it changes.
Very impressive.
It's really, really great. Yeah, that was. I think she was probably my favorite thing. With Sofia Coppola's performance, my favorite thing about the film. I would say, definitely.
Agreed. And like I said, I'm a huge Jacob Elordi guy. We can't really compare the Austin Butler to Jacob Elordi performance. I don't love Austin Butler or hate Austin Butler. I'm just kind of like whatever. Like he's just like a person. Whereas like I love Jacob Elordi. So that being said, like I'd be biased towards Jacob Elordi, but I would say like because like people are inevitably going to compare the performances. I've seen a lot of people dunking on Austin Butler, being like Jacob Elordi didn't have to do all that nonsense for his role, but it's like
different role.
Austin Butler like was Elvis to me, like in that movie, like he became Elvis. Jacob Elordi for this, like when you watch this movie, he does great, and I love Jacob Elordi, like I said, so I'd be biased towards him. But like this is like you can clearly see why Austin Butler would probably have to go through a lot more prep for his role.
Elordi isn't the centerpiece. He's not the focus here. The focus is Priscilla, whereas Austin Butler was the dazzling showman Elvis, where he had to portray Elvis for a nearly 3-hour film, and it was all on him. So it's completely different. Right. I thought Austin Butler was great. I saw him as Elvis, and I see Jacob Elordi as Elvis, just as different sides of him, and from a different perspective. I think it's the main thing. I mean.
Yeah, but I agree with you when you said this is kind of a movie that had to be made coming off of Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. But with that being said, like I'm not downplaying Baz. I think there's a place for both of them for sure.
There's a place for both. Absolutely.
Yeah, Elvis was such a polarizing figure, or not polarizing because I mean he's polarizing now, but obviously at the time, like no one, let's just be honest, no one really gave a shit about this stuff at the time. But he was such a larger than life figure that I do think there's a place to have like a movie like where it kind of. Because like we mentioned, you don't really grasp in this movie how larger than life and crazy he was, which was intentional. But I feel like there's a place for a movie that shows that because Elvis from Baz Luhrmann really showed how like women literally would like faint over the dude, which like my grandparents were like huge. Like my grandma was a huge Elvis person. Like, yeah, very much like she, even to the day she died, like her house had, not exaggerating, like 4 dozen just pictures of Elvis, like Elvis memorabilia. Like he was just like, and that's not uncommon. Like there's people that were just like obsessed with the guy to a point where we haven't really seen before. So Priscilla is 4-star for me, 3.5 from Seth. Yeah, like I said, I thought George did see it, but that was the one he wasn't able to get tickets to. But I like this. I didn't expect to not like this, but I expected to kind of be like, oh, that was like a good movie, but I liked it a lot more than I thought. Again, Sofia Coppola's direction was like a massive standout for me, and it's really going to not force me like in a bad way, but like I really do want to start watching more of her films now. I don't know about Kaylee Spaney. I want to see what you got, what you're doing next, because very impressive.
This film, not to compare it to Maestro again, just because I watched it back to forth. Maestro was like 15 minutes longer, but this film felt like 2 hours shorter. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I think this film flew by when I watched it. I don't know why. Like, I need to watch it again, I think, because I think I might watch it. Like, when I'm thinking about it now, I feel like I like it more than a 3.5. Do you know what I mean? When I talk about it, I feel like I might just give it another watch. I think it's going to age really well over time.
I think so too, because like I said, there's a lot of moments during this where I thought it could be a 4.5. I do wish, the only thing I wish is that, and I know it's like such a trope to do in biopics, is to have like the end be like what happened next. But Priscilla was such a shadow of Elvis's career and life that I truly have no idea what she did do with the rest of her life. And maybe that's intentional, that she didn't want to be in the public spotlight or have anything about her life known. But I do know that, because I was like looking up stuff after this, like how the relationship kind of go. I do know that she does want to be buried by Elvis when she dies. Like, they have a plot next to each other. So like there's not a lot of hostility there. She still has a lot of love and admiration and respect for him. So I did kind of want to know like what kind of went on, because obviously she was like 23 or something when they divorced, and she's like, I don't know, in her 60s, 70s, 80s now. So like
23 with like 30 years of life experience already.
Yeah, like a lot of life has happened. So I kind of wanted to know, like, what did she go on to do? But she lived her own life. So good for her. Got out of the relationship. Jacob Elordi, solid performance. Glad he didn't have to transform his body and get super fat in the later years for Elvis. They just kind of played that off. Like Austin Butler, I don't know if he actually got fat, if it was just a pure fat suit, but seems like something he might have done.
We don't even have a release date yet, in the UK.
For what? Oh, because it was a film festival. You saw it.
I think it'll be like 7 months.
Yeah, it is A24, so it's going to be
That's the issue.
a while from now.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like it was just funny because there's only 3 other people in my theater, and it was like in the big theater at my theater I was showing. There's only 3 other people. I went at like noon yesterday though, on a weekday, so like not surprised that there weren't that many people. I love going to like, okay, I hate when people talk during movies, but during trailers, I always think it's funny like when there's just a couple people and they're like older. The classic, like the trailer ends and you get like the 2-second reaction from them to be like, you kind of hear like them be like, that looks like shit, or like, oh, that looks pretty good. It's just always so funny. Like the Iron Claw, they were impressed with, but I can't remember which one. There was a movie.
The Iron Claw?
The wrestling one with Zac-Efron and
yeah.
But what's that one? Argyle, the Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa one. Like the old people were not impressed with that trailer. They're like, that looks stupid. Like, it's just, I just love those little twos, because they were like 2 rows behind me and it just made me chuckle every time. Every trailer that came on, I was like, I wonder what they're gonna think of this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Priscilla review. And like I said, there's a ton of other releases this week, kind of ish, but not really. It's a weird time of year with all these kind of more indie films pushing for awards that are going to get released all throughout the year. But next week will be The Marvels as well as The Killer, because we've all kind of, or you and George have seen The Killer, but The Killer officially releases on Netflix next Thursday or Friday. So we'll kind of do a proper review of that now that kind of the whole world will have access to it. And
did you get a theatrical release for The Killer? I don't think you did.
I did, but honestly, like, I'm just not a big Fincher guy, and I know I'll probably like this based on reviews, but it wasn't enough to make me go to the theater as opposed to.
I'm
just
a big Fincher guy, and I really like this, so I'd be keen to see what you think.
I might go see it in the theater because I will see Anatomy of a Fall too before next week. So, and I think George will be back, so we'll be able to review that as well.
Do it because the sound in The Killer is really great. Like the design of it, made for a big screen. Do you know what I mean? So I think
I probably will, because Anatomy of a Fall is like a type of movie that I have to go to like a further away theater to see, and same with The Killer. Like The Killer didn't get a wide release, so I'd have to go to the same theater for The Killer, so I might just double feature it. But yeah, we'll move on to the next segment while Cam kind of swallows and chews, because we're getting into his segment here.
Really poor timing with that one, because I just got food.
The MCU is in shambles.
MCU's alive,
but it is also so back.
It's so back, man.
It's Jover and it's Barack. Cam, this is your segment. Walk us through the MCU right
now. Yeah, we're just gonna go through. There was a whole lot of news. There's a bunch of rumors. A whole lot of fun stuff coming. Just I love the Twitter discourse. It's so fun. So I've fuck it. We'll just start with this week. It was this Variety article basically talking about how the MCU is in shambles.
Love that word for some reason. It's like, you know, any word when someone uses it over and over,
because it's what like that Mark Ivalis or Magnificent or whatever his name is on TikTok or Twitter. He kind of like coined the phrase because he says everything's in shambles. That's like his content 90% of the time is just yelling that something's in shambles.
Oh,
but he yells that the MCU is in shambles, and so then everyone kind of hopped on that this time. So we'll start with like the not bad news. This is what I consider the good news. The writer for Blade Runner 2049 and Logan, I'm finding his name right now. Damn you. Michael Green, I believe it is. Yep. Michael Green, who wrote Logan, he also wrote Blade Runner 2049, among other things. I believe Alien Covenant was listed. Someone said that as a bad thing, but I think, Seth, you enjoy that movie, correct?
Alien Covenant?
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah, you said that last week. You like it.
Yeah.
He also wrote, people gave me a list of like bad movies he also wrote because they didn't want me hyping it up too much, I guess. But
I'll chat. You keep talking. I'll chat.
Yeah. So John Green, writer of or Michael Green is on officially, I believe, writing Blade, the upcoming Blade movie with Mahershala Ali. He's the writer of Blade Runner, writer of Logan. Blade Runner 2049. Sorry.
Green Lantern?
Yes, Green Lantern. That's the one. He was the writer of the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, which is not great. But yeah, he's writing Blade. That's good news, in my opinion, just especially like Mahershala Ali allegedly almost left the project because of the writing issues. Blade was pushed to be like the fourth lead of the movie. Absurd when it was
meant to come out yesterday, wasn't it?
It was meant to come out yesterday. Yeah. Hilarious tweets replying to that, like just announced at Hall H, like Blade will come 11/3/2023, and people are like, man, now watching or whatever. Hilarious tweets. Mess of a production. I hope they get it back on track. This article, to me, if you did see the Variety article, kind of sounds like Kevin Feige is grabbing everyone by the neck and saying, figure it the fuck out, basically. At least that's the way I'm going to spin it. But then there were other reports that possibly shifting from Kang the Conqueror to Dr. Doom, who Seth, I don't think you knew who Dr. Doom was.
I do know. It's the Fantastic Four guys.
He's a Fantastic Four villain. He is a much bigger villain in the comics, and he's a big part of the Secret Wars comic, to my knowledge, at least.
I know George said he's like not like George. Just to give George's view, I think he mentioned that he doesn't think that he could be as powerful as like a Kang to operate the universe, to be like a Thanos.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think in the comics though he has that ability. I think he gets like the Infinity Gauntlet. Again, I'm not a huge comic guy, so if you are and you're listening to this, you can tell me I'm a fucking idiot. But I watch a lot of like theory videos and shit like that, so I get comic knowledge at least from that. But he can be big enough to be the big bad, and I'm pretty confident. Like after this multiversal phase, like I said, he's big in the Secret Wars. I think he was supposed to be like the next big bad. And so it sounds like they're kind of rushing maybe to him. That was just a rumor. I don't think they'll drop Jonathan Majors unless something crazy comes out in this trial. I called Jonathan Majors a piece of shit last week. Got told like innocent till proven guilty. I called him a piece of shit on my TikTok review. Got a million comments about that. I stand by.
Saw those.
Yeah, I stand by. Piece of shit.
I thought you were about to say I called Jonathan Majors, like his take on this.
Gave him a ring.
I called him.
Yeah, good pal Jonathan Majors just gave him a ring. Was like, hey man, what's going on? No, but I don't think they'll drop him. Again, yeah, he is innocent till proven guilty, I guess, but also there are reports of him just being an asshole on set, and I can handle an asshole on set. And that's totally fine. But then you get reports of being like an abusive piece of shit. And you're probably not that great of a person. You don't see very good, upstanding people get random allegations. Like there's always something behind it. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it. If you want to say I'm an idiot and you want to comment that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's completely fine. I know the trial has not happened. I'm still going to stand that he's a piece of shit. The article also mentioned, as Tyler sent to us, they were considering possibly going off of Kang after the performance of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. If you think for 1 second that he is anywhere near the issue with that movie, you got something wrong in your head. They were saying like even before the allegations came out, there was possible talks of switching up on Kang. You fucking idiots! If that's what the Marvel Studios believes is the issues with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Cover up anyway. Does anyone actually believe that was the case?
No, I don't believe it for a second. It 100% is because of the allegations. It's just a funny thing to put in the article. I don't know if you guys saw the quote in that article. An insider who has seen all of Loki basically said the MCU is fucked. The MCU's fucked if they try to. Loki's through 5 of 6 episodes. I haven't seen the ending. But basically said the MCU's fucked if they try to move off Kang just because of what Loki sets up. And they are, because I think also there are a million tweets and they're hilarious that like Kang is without a doubt the easiest character in the world to recast, given that his entire thing is there are millions of him. There's one of him in every universe and they've all banded together. The easiest character in the world to recast. They don't have to look the same. They could be anything. They're all Kang though. Like that's the funny part. They could just recast him very easily, but I don't think they will. I think the trial will happen. Nothing will come out of it. Text, I'm sure like he did some stuff and he won't get charged for anything. And then people will sweep it under the rug, which sucks, but I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. So that was the next big piece of news is that it's possible they might leave Kang and go to Dr. Doom. Any thoughts on that from you guys? I know you're not huge into this stuff, but
I don't know enough about the Doom man to comment.
He's a very good character.
He looks kind of cool.
I don't know enough about him. Like, I guess whether they go forward with Kang again, this is all with like the caveat like Jonathan Majors. We don't know what's going to happen with them, but hopefully it turns out well for justice in terms of like if he, if everything comes out that he was the piece of shit that we thought he was, like I hope that we never see him again in any movie ever. But in terms of like Kang or Dr. Doom, because like you mentioned, you could easily recast Kang. I just want a cohesive story, man. Like I'm completely out on the MCU at this point, but that still doesn't mean I'm still gonna watch them and like probably like have a decent time with them. Like I just want something. I just want a clear vision.
Would you watch what? Part of the podcast if you weren't a creator? Would you watch them?
I still would. Yes, I still would be watching the MCU if I wasn't part of the podcast. And then that's kind of why like I really want just a cohesive story. And I feel like that's the only thing that worries me about the whole like changing to Dr. Doom is it seems like from outsider perspective is that they'd have to change a lot of stuff.
You're too deep, especially like him being in Loki, and maybe you can argue that like a lot of people haven't seen Loki. And Quantumania didn't do well, so maybe you can, but you're in too deep. He's been in 3 projects.
Like how many people have seen it? Just made projects just out there. People can go back to it.
Yeah. And also I said this, like whatever you think about Jonathan Majors, I tweeted before like his allegations at the time, like he was one of my favorite actors because he's so fucking good in everything he does. I'm not gonna argue that. They will not. I don't think they'll find someone as menacing as him or as good as him. And unfortunate because that's probably the reason they're keeping him. If he was shit and everyone hated Kang, they would probably kick him to the curb pretty quickly. But Kang is the only reason I feel like people are still like having somewhat bit of hope or for this cinematic universe right now that they've got going, because it is out of whack and it's messed up and they got to figure it out. And that's why I like to think Kevin Feige's grabbing everyone by the neck and saying like, get your shit together. We're not losing money, because the Marvels, I hope it's good. It's going to lose money. It's not making the $1 billion that Captain Marvel did.
How high budget is it for Marvel?
It's a $250 million. No, it came out right that it was like $500 million, but they got like 150 million from the UK or something like that. I remember the crazy budget news that came out.
Yeah, there's been enough news about the budget that I could, if I wanted to make a TikTok in a month, I could easily make a TikTok saying it was very profitable, or I could make a TikTok saying it's one of the biggest flops. Just because at one point it was reported to be like $100 million budget, one point is 500 million. I'll just pick and choose whatever narrative I want to push for the MCU.
It's not making money.
It is. No, it's not. It's not going to make money. And also that article like kind of touched on it, but basically mentioned that it had like middling reviews and had a little bit of post-production hell, which is what a lot of these movies have had. Which middling reviews, you're going to make jack shit money, even if you had good reviews. Sorry. I think you're going to break even at best. The Marvels is just not going to make money, which sucks because a lot of it is like it's 3 women leads and the MCU fan base just sucks for the most part, but you can't fight that. Someone's getting a call time. Also, Blade, I guess, has like $100 million budget or less than. Good. Keep it grounded. Don't use a shit ton of CGI. Make it more practical. You can use a lot more money on important things if you make it practical. And that's what Blade should be. So that's hopeful news. The big doo-doo news from the article, which is just a rumor and probably not true, but it is the big doo-doo fart news, is that they're thinking about bringing like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson all back for an Avengers movie. That's when I'll say the MCU is in shambles. If I say the MCU is in shambles, you're in shambles. Like
that is fucking the
only reason I wouldn't say it to that news is because I'm 100% certain it doesn't happen. I'm pretty confident they'll bring them back at some point for like a secret invasion as like a cameo.
Okay, yeah,
like a cameo or something. It'll be like the Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man No Way Home, and that I fully expect it's gonna happen one day. If they are the leads of an Avengers movie, like soon,
that renders the biggest project the MCU has ever done meaningless, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It completely does, because Endgame, the whole emotional build-up for especially Marvel fans, that would render the whole thing meaningless. And not to mention, Endgame was like, what, 4 years ago at this point? Maybe 4.5 years ago, 2019? Yeah, like, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, maybe they won't do it. I think this is the stupidest idea ever. It's like,
no, I'm totally with you.
You're stepping down to like the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah,
you really
I'm
are.
totally with you.
It's terrible.
But they didn't say they're like, I don't know. And again, like I have I have nothing with MCU. Like I'm not interested really in it much anymore anyways, but like I don't know. I just don't feel like they're going to be pulling him back for an actual role in a movie. I feel like it's going to be like a Secret Wars cameo.
I think they'll be back for Secret Wars.
I can see them doing it. I can see it happening.
But I don't think Robert Downey Jr. would want to, though. So that's why I feel like it's just a cameo. Right. I don't think he would want to be an actual.
Maybe Robert Downey wouldn't, but you'll still get butts in seats with Chris Evans, and he's been on a stinker run. And also, they can throw $1 billion at that.
Why would Robert Downey Jr. not do it? He's done so many bad projects for money.
That's true.
What
remember Doolittle?
Yeah, he got paid so much for that. I think Robert Downey Jr. People have been saying he wouldn't take it because of Oppenheimer. He's done great roles before. You know, Zodiac. He still takes things for money.
I think there's only one man who can fix. There's only one thing that can fix the MCU from going to complete shambles, and that's the Academy, and that's giving Robert Downey Jr. an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Mm-hmm. And then I think officially he'll be like, "All right, I can't be taking these silly roles."
I don't think he would. I think he'd. Robert, I mean, all the power to him, because
I think Scarlett Johansson is the least likely to come back. To be quite honest,
because they also kind of did her dirty too.
I agree.
Yeah, they did. They kind of like fucked her with the whole streaming release and everything. But I think she made money, and she's like a producer on the Marvels. I think. I don't know.
She's the best actor out of any of the Avengers.
I agree. 100%. I agree. Chris Evans is the last, and I love Chris Evans, but like he's clearly.
I think Scarlett Johansson is like. She transcends an Avenger actor.
Mm-hmm. You know, she's the only one I feel like who has had like a true filmography outside of the MCU.
She's had some really interesting roles.
Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, Chef. I'm sure there's a whole lot of more that I'm not. Asteroid City. Yeah, like she's the only one outside of the MCU that's like made it. Her and honestly Jeremy Renner, but like they had the smallest roles in the MCU.
She did like fucking Tyler. She did Under the Skin, like a random, do you know what I mean, indie A24 like body horror sci-fi. Like Scarlett Johansson not only is a great actor, she takes interesting roles. So I'd be really disappointed if she went back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, more so.
Yep. I don't want to linger on it too much, but that just sounds idiotic to me. And then yesterday, the MCU was officially back, releasing its first ever TVMA trailer. So TV mature, or whatever that is in the UK, Seth. So it'll be like the Netflix series type brutality. Probably not the boys level by any means, but at least we'll have blood and we'll be gory, that sort of thing. This is under the new like Marvel Spotlight banner that they're doing, where it's focused on street level characters who are not going to be like I'm trying to think of the word, impacting the larger MCU scale all that much. So your Daredevils, this is Echo. The trailer is for Echo. Sorry.
Thingy in this. What's the name?
Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio. He kind of, so Echo is a mute character, deaf since she was a kid. In the comics, she has the ability to like mimic fighting, I believe, and mimic anything. But I think they are changing that, and she's just going to be a badass warrior.
Is she a deaf actor?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty confident she is. Because she was in Hawkeye. That's where she was introduced. I forget the name. I can figure it out real quick for you.
I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard from non-MCU fans, I've heard really good things about the trailer.
Yeah, it genuinely looks like. So here's the thing: I don't know if it's going to be great, but it's going to be more dark, and therefore, I bet it receives better public reviews.
Probably.
If
what
I
had equate to is that just what? How does? Is that like Breaking Bad, mature with the age rating? What?
Yeah, so the TV version of R-rated.
Yeah, it's the TV version of R-rated. Also, it's written by the Better Call Saul writers, so that's even a little bit more for hope.
That's actually really incredible, to be fair. Wow.
Aliqua Cox is her name, and sorry if I didn't pronounce that, but I believe she is a mute actress.
I haven't seen an MCU TV show since Moon Knight, I think, and I haven't been interested in them, but I will agree that the Echo trailer I genuinely thought looked really great. I'm excited for it. I was surprised at how much I really liked the trailer.
This is a classic, like when Kevin Feige said they were not going to hold back punches in Moon Knight and they were going to make it brutal. They very much did. And now you're giving a TVMA rating. So clearly there's something there. Clearly you're going to at least see people hitting each other.
This is the first one.
This is the very first TVMA. This would be, like Tyler said, an R-rated. You're going to hear the word shit, maybe. Crazy.
We heard that in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah. Or fuck, right? Yeah. No, but it is all dropping at once. Is that good or is that bad? I don't know.
For me, I think I prefer that.
Do you think that it's only two options? It's either this is shit and get it out, or this is pretty good. We need everyone on board quickly.
But then usually with the good ones, they kind of want a weekly. How many episodes is it? 6?
6, I believe. I think it's the same.
I think it could be either. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also dropping on Hulu as well. So it's a little bit of a Hulu and Disney Plus production. I believe you have Disney Plus only, Seth, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Separate from movie news, finance news wise, Disney bought the remaining stock of Hulu this week to fully.
Was that official?
Them. So I think part of me thinks the reason Disney Plus and Hulu is both releasing Echo is because I think they're not going to exist in a month. I think it's going to be one service is going to be coming eventually. Now that Disney owns all of Hulu.
They always use Hulu as their more mature stuff. It's Always Sunny. The Simpsons is, I guess, on Disney Plus now. But it was on Hulu, I believe. Who's got Modern Family? Shout out that ABC
Echo
production.
Drop? When does Echo drop?
January 10th.
Oh,
so it's pretty. It's pretty soon. I'm excited for it. Just again, I'm not gonna say. I forget what I tweeted. I said I'm not gonna say we're back, but I'm not gonna say that or something like that. So we'll see how it is.
Watch anything to watch this prior?
No, probably not. Because I think so. There's a backstory in Hawkeye, but it looks like from the trailer they explain the backstory a little bit. Have you seen the Netflix Daredevil series?
No.
It's good, but I don't know if you want to watch it. He's in the show, and that's where Kingpin is from. So if you wanted to be a little bit more invested in these characters, that's what. I mean, it's probably a little connected to that, but that's not technically connected to anything anymore. But I think we got some hope, and maybe the Marvels doesn't stink, and people enjoy it at least enough. And honestly, people say the MCU screwed, but if you go Guardians, then Loki season 2, which I think is getting very good reviews from most. I think most people enjoy it. And then Marvels isn't bad. And then Echo is very good, which, could be a long shot. I feel like that's not a bad stretch compared to
what's the films after Echo? What's the
well, there's a whole slate, but it's bad with the writer's strike right now. I believe the next one was supposed to be Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which
they've been delayed, haven't they both?
Yeah, they've got to be delayed at this point. I actually think maybe Captain America New World Order got slated into that time slot because they were further ahead in production. I don't know, man.
Is that the one with?
I don't think like 90% of the movies they announced at
Is that the one with
at
Anthony
Comic-Con
Mackie?
as Captain America. Yeah. I don't think like 90% of the movies that they've announced are going to come out. Thunderbolts is on there. I don't know any of the TV shows that are on the timeline, but
so they need Marvel.
Pay your fucking actors and writers, and we can get these movies out because they're all going to get delayed. Shout out Blade for coming out yesterday. But that's all I have in the Marvel minute. It took way longer than a minute, but I just wanted to at least ease the pain a little bit for the Marvel stands. And I'm going to be worse than you've ever seen me before. Go Marvel! I'm back. We're back.
Do you think that Blade will ever come out?
No, man, that movie's not getting made. We've said it for so long.
We said this like a year ago.
Yeah, we've said this for so long. The movie's not getting made. Which is sad
because I think they could. Blade has some really good material to make a good, dark, kind of action thriller-esque thing. So I think it could work, but I don't know. That's like an MCU project that I'd be looking forward to, I think, Blade, because it's in like modern era. I think he'd be really, especially Mahershala Ali. I think he's a fantastic actor. Well, if it does happen, I don't think he'll be involved anyway because I think he'll be fucked off by that time. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, moving on to movie news, just one thing. So yesterday, in terms of when we're filming this, a Friday, the SAG-AFTRA late at night late at night, the studios offered a new offer to SAG-AFTRA Friday night. They're using the weekend and today, which is Saturday, to kind of discuss it. And this afternoon, they're going to be having across the table negotiations between the studios and SAG-AFTRA. All the CEOs are expected to be there. So who knows? When you're listening to this on Monday, hopefully we have some good news. But I think everyone can kind of get the vibe from the last couple of weeks that it seems like things are getting super, super close. So
the studios are saying that like this is they think. I mean, we've seen before that their negotiation skills are a bit shit, but they think this is going to be the deal that closes it. And I think SAG are looking pretty hopeful, more than they were a few weeks ago anyway.
Also, Dune was supposed to drop yesterday, so pay your damn actors.
Dude, we could have had a Dune Blade double feature yesterday. That would have been a great
episode. Mm-hmm. We would have been so happy. We're watching Dune. We're watching Blade. We're happy. Come on.
That's crazy. That's very sad.
Disappointing. And it's all the studio's fault. So now we're going to kind of go into the last segment of our podcast today. We're going to be talking about the best movie year of the 2020s. Yeah. So open up your letterbox or your spreadsheets. And so we're going to kind of start with our top 5 movies of each year. Just going to kind of go around and just do our top 5. We won't kind of bounce around. We'll just go one by one, just say our top 5. So we're going to go year by year from 2020 through 2023. And then once we're done with that, then we'll kind of do our ultimate ranking of like best year in movies from, worst to best of the 4. So Seth, I'll start with you. What are your top 5 movies of 2020?
2020 was shit. Jesus Christ. I mean, COVID, I know.
I've got all mine ready if you don't.
So mine is 5 would be Minari, which we obviously watched a few months ago. 4 would be the Netflix original Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things. 3 would be the Danish drama comedy Riders of Justice. 2 would be Mads Mikkelsen starring Thomas Vinterberg, Another Round. And then 1 would be Florian Zeller's The Father with Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. That's my top 5. I will say 2 of those are a 4-star as well. So it really wasn't a great year for me, ratings-wise.
I'll ask if you saw something after we go through our lists.
Cam, your top 5.
Yeah. Starting off with Mr. Mads Mikkelsen, Another Round, 93 out of 100 for myself. Trying to find where my mouse is so that I can scroll. Next up, and then the next 4 are 5 out of 5s for myself. So not a terrible year. 5 out of 5s. The Father from Florian Zeller, 95 out of 100. Number 4, Promising Young Woman, 95 out of 100. Emerald Fennel, polarizing movie. I enjoy it a whole lot. Not like enjoy it because it's a very tough subject matter, but I thought it was incredible, really well written. Soul, 96 out of 100. One of my favorite animated movies of all time. Most definitely my favorite of recent memory. And at number 1, one of our real quick reviews, a 97 out of 100, Sound of Metal. Riz Ahmed.
Oh, wait.
I was going to ask if you've seen Riz Ahmed.
Because that's 2019 on Letterboxd, but it is a 2020 release.
It released on Prime as a wide release 2020. It got
let me say mine again, sorry. I'm thinking of ending things 5. 4 would be Riders of Justice. 3, Sound of Metal. 2, Another Round, and The Father would be 1. So Sound of Metal would be in my top 3. I forgot that was 2020. Wasn't it? Yeah.
Good movie in my.
Was that what you were going to ask me if I'd have seen that one?
Yep. I forgot if you were on the Real Quick or not.
I was.
Yep. Good movie.
Yeah, my 5 is Promising Young Woman, so I have that overlap with Cam. That's a 9.3 for me. Might as well milk the decimals while I still have them here. Number 4, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, which was a real quick review we did back in the day. Sound of Metal is my number 3, which also real quick review. Number 2 and 1 are the same as Seth's. Number 2, I have Another Round, and number 1, I have The Father. My clear 2 favorites from the year, but also shout out Hamilton from that year. Give it a 9.8.
Oh yeah,
love Hamilton.
I think I have that as like a fake 100 out of 100 because it's.
Is that a film? Is that counted as a film?
No, I don't count it as a film because it's just they just turned the camera on the stage.
I don't count it as a film.
So it's just
That's why I say fake 100 out of 100.
Right, but Hamilton's great. I'm a big fan. All right, moving on to 2021, Seth.
Yeah, so my 5 is a Pixar film, and that is Luca. What I believe to be, for me, one of the most underappreciated Pixar films. I really love that film. Made me cry. Simple, great animated. Loved it. My number 4 is going to be Help with Stephen Graham and Jodie Comer, the COVID film. And we know COVID films are usually shit, but that was devastating. Beautiful film. My 3 is going to be Celine Sciamma, the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire's Petite Maman, a beautiful drama. My 2 is going to be Denis Villeneuve's Dune, and my 1 is going to be Julia Ducournau's Titan.
I need to see Titan. I really do.
Man. Definitely.
Be interesting to see what I think about it. But
weird shit, Tyler. So great.
Cameron.
Yep. From 2021, so 92 out of 100. I have The Harder They Fall, a Netflix film. Also on Netflix.
I'm blanking on that. What is it?
It's the Western starring. Is the Western? It has like Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, Regina King. It's man. I don't know how much I love it because I can't really remember it all that much, but I loved it at the time. I only watched it, the once and just loved it. But I'm at the time, was a major fan of Jonathan Majors. Like I thought he was incredible. He's kind of on a murderous rampage basically, and he's just fucking good at that. 2021 as well, The Mitchells vs. Machines, a 92 out of 100, also on Netflix. So shout out Netflix, good animated movie. One of George's favorites. I know he would mention it. He kind of turned me onto it. 9 Days, stars like
is that the
what's his name? Brian Tyree Henry. Yeah, where like their souls and then talking about life and such, and it's just sad. I think Zazie Beetz in that one as well, if I'm remembering correctly. I gotta look it up now. So
I believe she is.
Yeah, I believe she is as well. So good year for her. She is. She's a main one. Winston Duke. And then into my 5 out of 5s, Dune 2021. Shout out Denis Villeneuve, 95 out of 100. And then Oscar winner, Best Picture winner, Coda, 96 out of 100 for myself.
Nice.
Big fan of Coda. I know George is anti-Coda, but it's a good movie, in my opinion.
There's 2 films I thought you'd have in there, Cameron. I thought you'd have.
What's that?
Am I right in saying you really like Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yep, I do.
Yep.
90. And then Drive My Car, also like a 90.
Oh, I thought you'd have for some reason I thought you had the Suicide Squad. I thought you'd have that.
I think that's a 91. It's probably up there. I only clicked through my first 5, so I didn't really look at my list past that. But yeah, I'm sure it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, in the 5 spot, Come On. Joaquin Phoenix is incredible. The kid actor. Obviously don't know his name, but don't think he's been anything else, but he's great in it too. Shout out Lin-Manuel Miranda, back-to-back years in my top 5. Tick, Tick, Boom, huge fan. Andrew Garfield, incredible. Silence, I do think is his best performance, but Tick, Tick, Boom, I genuinely do think is number 2, which, people in musicals think is weird to say, but I do think it is. Number 3 is a movie I really want to rewatch, and I think it will go even higher up on rewatch, and that's Drive My Car, which might honestly, it's maybe one of my, could be my favorite international film of all time. Honestly, I just loved it the first time. I need to rewatch. Number 2, Coda, big Coda fan as well. A lot of people calling it a Hallmark movie. I feel like is a really bad faith criticism. I don't know. I feel like it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. My takeaway.
It's got a happy ending. What's wrong with a happy ending? It's
the
not
discourse. I don't know. I just had a lot of the discourse was in bad faith because I feel like it's a female coming of age story, and I feel like it's a very similar trajectory to a lot of male coming of age stories. But because it's a female, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's too like girly and like sappy, and I'm like, it's just a coming of age story. It's just because it's a female. Why I think a lot of people aren't liking it. Not saying that's why George doesn't like it, but there's dozens and hundreds of people that have bad faith arguments for it. It's not just him. Number one, Dune. Love Dune, but also shout out Bo Burnham's Inside. That's 10 out of 10 for me. Came out that year, but again, not really a movie. But
I do love that.
Do we only share one film? Oh no, sorry, you both had Coda, didn't you?
Yeah, and then Dune was Dune all three of us.
Dune was my 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out Zack Snyder's Justice League because George isn't here, but he's with us in spirit today, and he obviously would. I'd have to imagine to be in his top 5.
Yeah, he probably would. 2021 again, not a great year for me at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really. I don't think there's a lot of great stuff. Shout out like the Worst Person in the World, big fan of that.
Oh yeah, great film. Yeah.
King Richard I actually did really like as a film, even though like Will Smith at the Oscars is kind of like soured like
you
that film.
Seen,
but
After Yang, the Colin Farrell 24.
Yeah, I never watched it.
I thought it was fine. I don't know. I didn't love it.
What The Lost Daughter.
Really like that. Big fan of Maggie Gyllenhaal as a director.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I really liked
Maggie Gyllenhaal, Sofia Coppola, Handshake, better directors and actors.
Probably right. Yeah, probably right.
I mean, Sofia Coppola is obvious because did she act in anything other than?
Yeah, she
Godfather 3.
Yeah, I'm sure she did a couple of projects, but not many.
Yeah.
Godfather 3 didn't exactly.
But she's great behind the camera. So is Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm excited to see more Maggie Gyllenhaal projects.
I think George would have the French Dispatch in here, honestly. Which I'm not.
Yeah, he probably would. I mean, if it's as high as Wes Anderson, I feel like it'd have to be.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip over to 2022.
Now we're talking. Now we are talking. 2022 is a fucking banger.
Start off with Seth.
Oh wow, this is tough. Okay, so I'll go. Top of the. Okay, 5. Someone else go. Sorry.
All right. 5. I have all mine ranked, so I can do that. 5 Decisions Leave. Shout out Park Chan-wook. 4. That's a 94 out of 100, and then the next 4 are 5 out of 5s for myself. 4, I have the Batman. Shout out Mr. Reeves and Robert Pattinson. At number 3, 96 out of 100, I believe, the Banshees of Inisherin, which Seth released 1 year ago today.
Wow, was it really? I've seen it 6 times, I think.
I bet that's up for you. Then.
Honestly, I thought it would be higher number wise.
I've only seen it once or twice this year.
Right.
Wait, what? I'm confused. Carry on.
Number 2, I saw on a work trip to Plano, Texas, where I will be going in December. So maybe I'll watch another banger down there and just keep the tradition alive. After Sun, 97 out of 100. And then number 1, my favorite movie, a 98 out of 100. Oscar Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Shout out me and the Oscars. We are.
I was going to say, how long is your streak now of years where you've.
I forget. What was, man, I already forget what my 2020 number 1 is.
Because Coda. So you already got 2.
Yeah. Sound of Metal, that didn't win Best Picture.
No.
So
just a 2-year streak. But
what was 2020's Best Picture? Nomadland? No, it was 2019, wasn't it? Oh, no. It was
2020.
Nomadland.
2019 was Parasite.
Nomadland.
2020 was Parasite. But
well, because, it was a 2019 year, 2020
okay, so I have to look 2021 Best Picture now. Nomadland. Yep, you're right.
Okay.
I haven't seen Nomadland.
You had Parasite for the year before, so you're on a 3 out of 4 streak right now.
Yep, 3 out of 4. And this year, shout out Across the Spider-Verse. You're winning.
Seth, you got your top 5?
So my 5 is the Irish film The Quiet Girl. My 4 is Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave. My 3 is Charlotte Wells' directorial debut After Sun. My 2 is Todd Field's Tar. And my 1 is, to no surprise to absolutely anyone, The Banshees of Inisherin. Top 5.
Yep. My top 5, number 5, Luca Guadagnino's Bones and All. Number 4, Damien Chazelle's Babylon. Number 3, Jared Carmichael's On the Count of Three. Number 2, the Daniels, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And number 1, of course, Charlotte Wells' After Sun.
We had
great year, though.
We had much.
Have you thought about tweeting about Babylon yet?
Fuck off.
No, I kind of wanted to.
He did yesterday. He did yesterday.
About Voodoo Mama.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, I tweeted about Babylon way before it was cool. I was day one.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I was a day one Babylonian.
What do they call it? Babylon, like, was
Babylon Hive or Babylon?
Hive. Yeah.
They say that about a ton of movies. They're like hives.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yep.
There's another one. I can't remember what the fuck it is now.
2022 was such a great year, though. Like, honestly, it wasn't like the most top heavy in terms of like, there's not a ton like I'm like blown away with, but like so many in the 4.5 range for me.
What I would say is like when I look at 2022, so my top 5, like these, okay, so these films I'm going to mention now would always be in like my top 5 for like for the year, but they weren't because of the quality. So like the Batman, I really, really liked. I think the Batman was fantastic. Everything Everywhere All at Once was fantastic. Really, really liked it. Wasn't in my top 5. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, fantastic film. Really, really liked it. Triangle of Sadness was my number 6. I loved Triangle of Sadness last year. And RRR, I really like RRR, Revolt, Rev, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Loved that film. And then there was like Babylon, which really liked. Northman, All Quiet on the Western Front. What was it called?
Ambulance.
I didn't watch that. Top Gun Maverick. I like Top Gun Maverick a lot.
Ambulance.
Top Gun Maverick was cool.
You know what was a fun movie that George is an idiot about? Prey. I liked Prey.
I liked Prey. Prey was cool. No,
I love Prey.
You liked Prey. He just
Prey
didn't
was
like
good
it.
fun.
I love
fun.
Prey. Parentheses 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. That's fine.
3.5 out of 5. Prey was better than Predator. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, on to this year. Top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you starting this one, Seth, or is it going back to me?
I've got it.
Okay.
I know. Off by heart.
What's your
My
favorite?
5 is David Fincher's latest film, The Killer.
Okay, nice.
Not a
Maybe.
fan.
Not
Got
a
the
fan.
thumbs down from Bailey.
Didn't agree with that one. My 4. My 4 is Across the Spider-Verse. That's the one. My 3 is Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. My 2 is Nolan's Oppenheimer. And my 1 is Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. That's my 4.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like my list will change a whole lot. This year for me has just been a whole lot of okay. You know, actually, I think it's pretty top heavy. I really enjoy my like top 4, and then the other, 50 that I've seen, I enjoy, but not a whole lot. But my number 5.
Go on. Say after.
No, I've seen 56. I've rated.
How many of you got like a 4.5 or above? I've got 4.
I have 8, 4.5 and above. But I feel like my list, I feel like is just off a little bit. I feel like I enjoy Suzumi a lot more, just like thinking about it, than I do my number 5, which is Creed 3. I liked Creed 3 a lot. I really enjoyed it. I may have given it a little too high of a rating, but
Did you rewatch it?
No, I haven't rewatched it.
Because I get the 4.5, and then I rewatched it at home, and I was like, yeah.
I haven't rewatched it.
Good, I like Creed. It's in my top 15.
And then my number 4, Past Lives. Shout out Cucking. My number 3, Robert J. Oppenheimer's biopic Oppenheimer. And number 2, shout out Comic Book Movies, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 96 out of 100 or 95 out of 100 now. And then also number 1, Across the Spider-Verse, 98.
You haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet, have you?
Nope.
I need you to watch it.
I know. I'll get to it.
I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of those where I dropped it to like a 4.5, and then I rewatched it. And I was like, nah, I love this. But I think you had the opposite.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I think for me, I don't know if this makes sense to you guys. Do you ever watch a film with someone who like loves something, and then you kind of inherently love it more because you're watching them happy? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That was kind of like me with Anna. I still really liked it, which I think it's a great film. I think it's definitely one of my favorite MCU films. Probably that, The First Guardians, or Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really get the same like emotional impact, I would say, on rewatch. But still really cool, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, but opposite too. Like if I'm watching something with someone who like hates something, I'm inherently probably not going to enjoy it as much as I would have if I watched it alone or something.
That makes sense. Well, actually, to be fair, it doesn't, because Anna hates everything that I put on, and I just love everything. So that makes sense. But I don't know. I feel like if like someone you're close to loves a film and you're watching it with them, you kind of just inherently like it a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like that's one thing for me for rating movies too. Like Joker, like isn't probably like better than a lot of 4.5s I have, but I have it a 5-star because like when I watched in a theater with people and like I remember just talking with them for like an hour after.
Experiences,
right? Exactly, and I'm totally fine keeping that as a 5-star because like my experience, it was like my favorite theater experience. Like I was with people I enjoyed. Sense. We had great conversations afterwards about just like life and like mental health. Like I was like, so it's like just remember that and just tie it into the rating of the movie. Same with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I actually do really love that movie. But again, great theater experience that I had a great time with.
It's a great film. George isn't here, so we can talk positive.
True.
Yeah,
for some reason,
I feel like we're hating on George this week, just kind of bashing him a little bit. So sorry if you're listening, George, but
you thought what, Tyler?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is great.
I thought you didn't like it as much either, Seth.
No, I give it 4 stars. I thought it was great.
My top 5. Number 5, Asteroid City, Wes Anderson. Oh, that is one I have rewatched and didn't move it up or down, but still really liked it as much.
I haven't watched it yet. I've only seen it once.
Really enjoyed it. Number 4, Air. Still hanging on because I was like that came out like February or March, but
that's one I look back on fondly, but I have it at like 12th or something on my list. Like I
just had a lot of fun with Air, and I forgot to bring this up during our Priscilla review, but the way Air, Seth, did you see Air?
No, it's not seen it.
The way the movie handles Michael Jordan is very similar to how Priscilla handles Elvis, where like kind of like a secondary aspect and like which I think they both did really well with how they handled it. Number 3 is Past Lives. It's another movie I have also rewatched. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Seen it 3 times now. Still love it. And number 1 for me is Oppenheimer. But shout out Midnight Ruin. Great movie, or great short from this year. And also still a Michael J. Fox movie is a documentary that's like very close to my top 5. And then The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is still one of like the best things I've saw this year.
I agree. That would be like up there for me if I was to rank it with like feature films. I really, really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Great film.
But yeah, this year feels to me a lot like 2021 in terms of.
I agree.
Not like there's some heavy hitters up top, but not a ton of like incredible films. But there's a lot in that 4-ish area to me. So now that we're going to get into ranking the years from best to worst, and those are the 2 years I'm really having a tough time delineating between. But I have my list. Seth? Do you have your years ready to go? Ranked?
Because we did it. I think we.
I'm going to give mine real quick and then change my son.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it. I think 2022 is the best.
I don't have much argument with that.
Yeah, I enjoyed 2021 actually, like more than most. I feel like, or actually, sorry, 2020 more than most. So I'd give that maybe 2 right now, and then 2023, and then 2021. Because I like Soul a whole lot, like more than most. So that's very high for me, and same with Sound of Metal.
Wow. So wait, 2022, 2020. What did you say, Seth? 2022, 2020, 2023, 2021.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's pretty different than I think what both of us will have. Yeah. So 22 to 20, and then 23 to 21.
That's really, I just thought that's kind of weird.
I think we're all in agreement though that 2022 is the best, or at least that's for me. 2022 is my top. My number 2 is 2023. Actually, right now I'm going to say 2021. I think 2023 absolutely. I'm expecting to top it when the year's all said and done, but they're just like neck and neck for me right now. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the year we know the whole thing about, and we don't know 2023s yet. But to me, 2021 and 2023 feels so similar, and they're neck and neck. 2020 is the clear bottom, or 2020 is the clear bottom for me. So I'd say 2022 is clear highlight, 2022 is the clear best, 2020 is the clear worst, and 23 and 21 are like neck and neck for me. But I'll give the edge to 21 right now.
So I have 2022 like up here, like really high up. Then I have 2023, like a big drop, 2023. And then 2021, same as you, just opposite order, like so close together, like that. Both, pretty good years in their own right. We haven't obviously finished 2023 yet. And then down the very, very bottom is 2020, because I think there was only like 3 or 4 standouts for me that year. And most of it was just meh.
Which is expected because
COVID, you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously the reason. But that's why it surprised me. Like, I feel like if you asked 100 people, 99 would say 2020 at the bottom. Do you know what I mean?
Cam at a number 2, surprising.
Yeah, that's so. Unless we misheard it. Like, I'm starting to feel like we misheard it.
He said he likes it more than most. I think because there just wasn't a ton of movies that released that year, but the ones that did are just like very Cam movies. Like he loves Soul.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And was that the Suicide Squad year? Or was that 2021?
No, it was 2022. Soul. So it was Soul, The Father, Another Round. he mentioned those Netflix originals, or like The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like 2020, I go down like my list. I go 8 films, yeah, and then I already drop into the 3.5s and 3s in 8 films. Do you know what I mean? That's not.
Let me see what mine is.
I have a 2 5s, 1 4.5, then 4 4s, and then it goes down to 3.5s from there. So it's by far the lowest like rated year on average I have. 100%.
Yeah, for me, I have 12 films, and then we're at 3 stars. So 12 films worth to 3 stars.
Yeah, it's like same as me. Like,
and that's including films like Eurovision, which clearly like are just like not 4.5 star films, but like I love them so much. So like that's like a generous like 12 films before we get to 3 stars.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, it's not a great year, and just like just not a ton came out. Like it's just like such a short year. But yeah, that's our ranking of the years and kind of our top 5 from each year. This week on Real Quick, we're going to be doing a draft of our favorite albums of all time. So that should be an interesting little draft. And then this will be coming on Thursday. Friday, we'll be reviewing Ben Affleck's The Town. And so yeah, look forward to those. And give a quick shout out to our executive producers before we end this episode. Shout out to 7 Mod Jeffy, Alexander Biscardi, Ben Leggy, Ben Hansey, Cody Whitney, Connor Connaughton, Dakota Buckner, Dean Cotamanidis, Dylan Chip, Ferdinando 4, James Magos, Jimmy O'Connor, Jordan Gagg, Josh Hines, Casper Lundberg, Luke Deerhog, M. Bates, Reese David, Remy Walker, Rocco 1.0, Russell Hone, Robert Leo Gislason, Sean Morales, Stefan Johnson, Will Kim, and Zach Graves. Shout out to all you. Check out our Patreon in the description down below. Check out all our different perks, different tiers. And yeah, with that is Real Talk episode 60. We missed you, George. We'll see you next week for the Marvel review, the Killer review.
Good video, good episode next week.
Yeah, tons of good stuff coming. So yeah, we'll see you on Thursday with the next Real Quick. Peace.